Welcome back to Mind Over Emotions, the podcast. I'm your host, Herc. And if you haven't already, as always, go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. And if you haven't already, go ahead and head over to Instagram. Follow us on Instagram at Mind Over Emotions _VDP. Head on over to TikTok as well. And follow us on TikTok at Mind Over Emotions, the podcast. And last but not least, if you want some of the apparel that I have, go ahead and shoot me an email to mindoveremotions@gmail.com. As well, you can send an email to that same email if you would love to be on the podcast, because we'd love to have you. And before we get into this podcast, I want to remind you guys of the premise of this podcast. The premise of this podcast is giving people an opportunity to speak, giving people an opportunity to be heard, giving people an opportunity to tell their stories. We all have a story. We've all been through things, and we can all learn from each other's story if we just open up and talk. So what I do on this podcast, I just give people an opportunity to come on, tell their story. I actively listen. I don't come with any pre-recorded questions, and we just have a good conversation about the story. So today I have one of my good friends, one of my homeboys, a close friend, somebody I care dear about, here today to share his story. And go ahead and introduce yourself for me, man.
Demarcus, Gilgamesh, Calvinist.
All right, how old are you?
40.
40?
Yeah,
All right,
bro.
you don't look 40. They say black don't crack.
That's what they say, man.
And do you have any kids?
Yeah, I got 5.
Okay, how many boys?
3 boys. No, 4 boys, 1 girl.
All right, and do you come from a 2-parent household?
I come from a mixed household. I was raised by my mother and my father early in my life, and then my mother and my stepfather, and then my father by himself, and then he got married, and my father and my stepmother. So, like, I lived, like, when my parents got divorced, no matter who I was living with, I had a 2-parent household.
Oh, that's pretty dope, man. Do you find that you might have had an advantage having that kind of support system at
Oh
a young age?
hell yeah, I got an advantage, man. Yeah, I got an advantage. I got to see life from 2 different dominant male perspectives. Like, my stepfather was dominant mentally and fiscally. Like, he was financially literate, and he was like, and what's crazy is all my 3 out of the 4 of my parents were in the military. All my grandparents were in the military.
You never had any aspirations to go to the military?
I did, but like, I was in high school. I was in second period English when 9/11 happened, and I had a really really cool history teacher. He kept us up on game. He didn't give us no propaganda, and he was like, "You a black man? Why you want to go out and fight that war?" And he was a white man, you know. He was like, "Man, live your life, man. You could be militant here."
Do you think that have any regrets of taking that advice?
Hell no.
Okay. Well, yeah, because you get to kind of live freely. You ain't got to abide by those
How was the
governmental rules.
military for you, black man?
Actually, when it comes to like I say race, I think that it was good, man. I didn't do any kind of racial issues while I was in the military, except for like from like locals, like when I was in Alabama.
Yeah, like you look at it, like, I would have went into the military and wouldn't have left Mississippi.
Okay.
Like, it would
Well,
have
no, you would have left. They would have stationed you all over.
I would have went to San Antonio. If I would have went in the Air Force, they would have sent me to San Antonio, and then they would have shipped me back.
Well, yeah, if you would have went reserves, but if you went active duty, you go because, like, for instance, you take our mutual friend Mike.
Yeah.
He's from here, right? And so, like, the way that me and Mike met, we both met in the Army, right? I joined the Army out of North Carolina. He joined here, and we met in Florida.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So
And then the thing about it is me and authority at the time.
That's how I was the first day. But I'll tell you this, man. That's the purpose of basic. They break you down.
It's like, okay, why would I go somewhere for somebody to break me, and I'm so successful in what I'm doing already?
Well, that's now.
No,
Okay.
I'm saying then, in my eyes, what I was doing, I was very successful at it. And I
Okay.
was like, do I want to take a pay cut?
Okay, touche. I was just curious if you had any regrets. So as a kid, how would your friends and schoolmates classify you? Like, how would they describe you?
It depends on who you're talking to. Some would be like, he's a nerd. Some would be like, he's a band geek. Some would be like, don't fuck with dude. It just depends on it. I hung out with everybody, so if they define me by who I hung out with, depending on who you could talk to, I could sit in any lane. Me, I just looked at it like I wanted something more than I had where I was from. You know?
How was it growing up? You said Mississippi, right? How was it growing
Yeah,
up in Mississippi for you?
it was rough.
Was it rough because of like where you're from, like violence, crime type thing, or was it rough because of racism?
All of the above.
What do you think you experienced more of? Matter of fact, let's talk about the racism for a second because like me, like coming from like California and stuff, like when I got to North Carolina, I had heard like me and my mom had this conversation. I had heard so much about racism and like school and stuff like that, but you didn't really have that in effect over in California, right? So it was kind of like one of those things where it's like, okay, it's of the past. People ain't doing that no more. And then, but then, but hold on, then. But hold on, hear me out. Hear me out. So when we went to North Carolina, I think I was there for like maybe less than a year. Got in my first fight over racism. The dude called me the N word with the hard R, and exact words were we were playing football, and he kicked the football and he said "fetch N word with the hard R," right? And so me being me, it kind of
You went
triggered.
and fetched him.
Man, no, I didn't fetch him. I threw a brick at him, and then that knocked him down. I came over there and I beat the brakes off of him.
You caught a charge.
Well, I was only in 5th grade, so.
Oh, yeah.
But so did you deal with a lot of racism growing up?
Like where I'm from, racism is so ingrained into everybody. But this was like when I was growing up. Like now it's more classism, but like, okay, you had racism from white people, but that's all they know and that's what they taught from an early age. You gotta think about it. We brainwashed and they brainwashed. And the people who got the money are succeeding. You feel me? So it's like for them, it's a way of life. For us, it's a reaction.
I can understand
Like
that.
white girls used to bring me home, and sometimes it'd be a life or death situation. Like I bring a white girl home, they may not say nothing to her face, but they talking about me and her behind her back. I got 2 mixed children.
Okay.
They go through hell. My family wishy washy as fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like my intermediate family, my mother's black. My stepfather's Panamanian, but my mama don't like white people. Like,
Yeah, that's just kind of crazy, man, to just hear that. I mean, I know it exists now as I got older and as I lived on the East Coast and in the South, mainly the South, not the East Coast. But it's just still crazy to hear that people are like that, man. Is still to this day your mom don't like white people?
yeah,
Oh man, that's
my mom
unfortunate.
don't even like her grandchildren.
Oh my lord. So with that being said, how was your relationship with your mom growing up?
And man, me and that lady still don't get along to this day. We have never gotten along. She has never
What
liked
do
me.
you think that caused that?
We too much alike and too different.
Okay, explain.
My mother is very manipulative, and I'm hip to game, and I know what buttons to push with her. We're like two children that don't like each other, but like it's been serious. She tried to take my life. She's had me locked away in prison while promoting me to do the wrong things that I was doing that were leading me to prison out of spite. Like, I moved to Washington to get as far away from her in the continental United States as I could and finish college.
Okay. And you seem pretty successful today. You got a good job. Before we get back into your mom, what do you do for work?
I am a precision grinder for aerospace parts like metalwork.
Okay. So as you guys heard him say, he was incarcerated. And now he has a really good job. So for those of you guys who are watching and you might have been incarcerated and you think that the road is you're at the end of the road, there's no hope, you can't get a good job. Demarcus here is a good example that if you keep striving and you keep working, you will succeed and you can have opportunities. So just stay the course. Don't give up. So with your mom, do you think that might have affected your outlook on women and relationships as a whole?
Of course, like I just came to the epiphany like a couple of days ago that I like up until recently I have never seen a positive and edifying relationship between a man and a woman. Like I didn't see that from my mother and my father.
So if you didn't see that, what do you do? What do you not take from that? Like, what's the main things that you don't take from their relationship and apply it to your? You apply the opposite to your relationship.
At 40 years old, I have went about it in a way just like them. I don't know how to do it right.
Okay, so if you don't know how to do it right and you've been doing it the same way, you know they say that what is it? The definition of idiocracy is doing the same thing and expecting different results.
Yeah, insanity. Yeah,
Insanity, not
yeah,
idiocracy.
yeah, yeah.
So obviously, if you've been doing it the wrong way, you think you've been doing it the wrong way, you think you've been mimicking their relationship and their way of doing it, maybe then reflect on the things that you've done in relationships and your mindset towards relationships and how you approach them and start changing different little things one by one.
Oh yeah, I am, but like in a sense, at this point, it's kind of too late for what I had going on. But like, I always learn from trial and error. I'm in this position. I'm trying not to make the same mistakes, but I have to look at it and be an adult and be like, okay, like how am I doing? Most people on the internet they try to lie. No, I have failed. I have even failed up to this point.
Yeah.
It's like now I'm in an age of reflection, and for what I had lined up and what I was working for, I kind of lost that.
Okay. Well, I'm a firm believer, man, that as long as we're breathing, and as long as there was true love between two people, it's never the end of the road. It might be a break in it, might be a curve, might be some separation going on. You might even venture down another path for a minute. But if it's meant to be, and if you really want it, just like how you came back from being incarcerated, you worked at it, right? So maybe let's try, or not let's try, but maybe you work on yourself, and you get some things straight with yourself, and then maybe you can for hood term purposes, you
Yeah,
can spend the block on
yeah,
it.
but like in legal terms, there's this thing called recidivism.
Okay,
You know what
touche.
I'm saying? Like when you were habitual line stepper, like Charlie Murphy said, a habitual line stepper, like then sometimes you just gotta accept your fate. You know,
Yeah. So right now, with the things going how they're going in the your current relationship, um, what kind of steps are you taking right now to be a better man?
consistency, transparency, and like just giving people their space to breathe and heal.
Yeah, it's very important. Sometimes we push the issue too much, and then people just kind of like pull away.
Yeah,
Um, so I've been asking this question lately to a lot of the males that I have on the podcast. Do you think that societal pressures from men and expectations from men are too high?
I feel like when I was coming up, they were higher.
Okay.
Like now, it's harder because the things that they expect from us, there's a whole nother section of expectations that are out of our purview that we just got to get with the learning curve. You know what I mean?
Like for what? Like what do you mean?
Expressing your emotions verbally instead of just solving the problem.
All right. So now you led me into my next topic. I was going to get into. You got there early. Um, so do you believe that men should not be able to express their emotions openly?
I feel like they should be able to express their emotions openly in the way that they see fit. It shouldn't be demanded. It's an emotion.
Yeah, because like now they always say that if you're emotional as a man or you show emotion that you lack masculinity.
Who says that?
Society. That's what society says. If you watch a lot of, for instance, if you watch a lot of these other podcasts out here, they talk about it. They say,
All right, peep game. The most non masculine thing that a man can do is gauge another man's masculinity.
I agree. But that's what society is, pushing. They're pushing that we have a lot of soft men out here because they're showing emotion. But I think it's the actual opposite. I think that we have a lot of soft men because they're holding on to their emotions.
I look at it like this: like the number one rule amongst men is the rule of inherent danger. These people that hide behind these bodyguards and hired security are calling men soft. The only person I respect that would call me soft is Mike Tyson. You know why? Because I've seen that man cry on camera. But he's also the same man that bit Evander Holyfield's ear off and told the man he would eat his children.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think that you can still retain your masculinity 100% and express emotions. Because here's the thing, I just said this the other day on a podcast. Um, if God didn't want you to cry when you was able to communicate, like learn words and talk, he would have took away your tear ducts as a man.
Yeah.
But he allowed you to keep him. He gave them to you because he knows that you're built with emotions. He gave you those emotions and he wants you to express those. The issue is that we surround ourselves around people who don't really support us, don't really have our best intentions in heart. And so therefore they're weak already on themselves. So when we express emotions, they look for us for strength, not for softness, for emotions, right? So when we express them, we're their strength, we're their backbone, right? So then they feel vulnerable. You see what I'm saying? Like they want us to be tough all the time because they're not, right? Which is fine, but at the same time, when we pick our significant others, our women, um, they're supposed to understand that we're human too,
Yeah.
and we should be able to openly express our emotions to them. I'm not saying, like I said the other day, I'll say it again. I'm not saying that we should be sitting at Applebee's crying. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying, crying about a cell phone bill we can't pay or something like that. I'm saying that if we're having a bad day, if we lost somebody or something like that, we should be able to go home and be like, hey, babe, like,
Yeah.
XYZ, da 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 da. And if it leads to some, me expressing some emotions and some tears fall, that doesn't mean that I'm
Let me cry on your titties and grab one.
that too, right? So but I think that's the issue is that the people around us, they need to work on them. You know what I mean? And stop, like you said, stop judging another man about his masculinity, right? And then as for women, I think that they need to understand that you can't attack a man like that. You can't attack a man for showing you emotions, and you can't limit a man to showing you emotion.
I look at it like this: what I didn't realize in trial and error, the woman that's gonna be receptive to your emotions is your woman.
Exactly.
You feel me? Like, spent a lot of years trying to get a woman to understand where I was coming from, and it just wasn't in her nature for me. You know what I mean? Maybe I didn't do what I needed to do for that to be her nature, but spent a lot of my time trying to pull that woman out of her nature. You know how we always talking about, oh, women just want to change us. I felt like that's what I was doing because that was my dream girl.
That
You know,
you were trying to change her.
yeah, and ultimately that's how I feel. Like, she is who she is. She's a beautiful person within that aspect, but like, I was trying to get her to be somebody that she just was
Can't be.
not. Yeah,
She's
I
not
don't
willing
know.
to
I
be.
don't know if she couldn't, can, or can't, or maybe it's just me. You know what they say, man. You know, there's a woman for everyone, and there's a perfect woman for everyone too. So she perfect for somebody. I wished it was me.
Yeah.
I hope it's me in the future, but hey, not right now.
That's exactly what I was saying earlier. There's a time in the season. And maybe
Yeah.
maybe your paths, obviously stay connected. Probably you guys have children together.
Mm-mm.
No, but you've been a part of those children's lives for a while, right?
Oh, hell yeah.
So you guys have children together, my man. They and you know what?
Let me get into that.
Okay, let's do it.
Nah, you look at it like this: when you not the parent, my guy, and there's a breakup that go on, there's a whole change in the demographic, and like, it be that way sometimes. You know what I'm saying? They, like, I can't blame them. They preparing themselves for me not to be around. So it's like that.
And with that being said, how does that affect you?
It's fucking crushing. But I've been through worse. No, I've been through my own children not wanting to fuck with me.
Why do you feel like your own children don't want to fuck with you?
because they say that.
But what I'm getting at is, whenever, in order to have that feeling, there has to be something that caused that feeling.
People told them things about me, and I wasn't around to defend myself.
I can relate to that 100%.
Yeah.
Um, do you think that there's things that you could do to better that relationship, or is it just you think that
I
it's on you
went
now?
I went above and beyond to change all of that, even move my son here. And like me and him went at odds because he wanted to quit school. I told him
I
if
think
you
I met your son, didn't I?
yeah,
Okay,
look
yeah,
just like me
yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you know, actually, I just thought about that. I was wondering. I know I see the girls, but I never see. I didn't see him no more after, like, I think like 2022, 2023.
Yeah, 3 days before his 18th birthday.
Yeah, man. I'm
He
sorry.
lives not too far from here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, prayerfully that you could rekindle those relationships. And if you guys are watching, if you guys somehow are watching children, your father loves you. You only get one father, man, and you only get one mother. So cherish those relationships. And it's never too late. As long as you guys are breathing, you guys can change. You guys can work on your relationship and build from it. So just keep that in mind if you're watching this episode, or if anybody's watching this episode and they know them, let them know that we only have time keeps moving and time is short, and you only got one life to live, right? And so don't waste it holding on to emotions that were embedded in you from other people's perspectives versus your own perspective of that relationship. You got to build your own relationship with somebody and see how it goes. Like, for instance, some people say, like, oh, don't trust this person because they did this to me, they did that to me. Well, that was you guys' experience. Get your own experience. Um, what kind of things do you do, my man?
Be- Before we get into that, can I rebuttal this?
Oh Lord, here we go. I like it. Let's do it.
To my children,
Here we go.
if y'all feel like y'all don't want to associate with me, that is your choice. We need to normalize the opinions of children. My kids feel like I failed them, so they don't want to deal with me. I went above and beyond, even on the child support side. As of today, $127,000 religiously. I don't have a choice. Where I've worked, they gonna take that shit. Where I've been, if you didn't make a payment, you went to jail. So it's not like I didn't do it. When I came around, motherfuckers hid my children, even my mother, used them as pawns to get at me and lure me there. And I'm like, where are my kids? I need to see them. Like, people kept me away from my children while telling my children I didn't want to see them. You know what I mean? Like, I came out here to better myself. And when I bettered myself, I brought my son here. My son, as soon as he got a taste of a better life, he was like, I got this. I hope he knows how to balance the checkbook now. I was in the middle of teaching him that. You know what I'm saying? Teaching him what my father taught me. That's the advantage I was talking about. My pops put me up on the game. It seemed like propaganda when I was young, but he said things to me like, as a black man, you're an endangered species and you're being hunted. And the most dangerous position to be in as a black man is broke because you're desperate.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? He taught me how to tie a tie. He told me what a gig line was because he was in the Navy. You know what I mean? He gave me my swag. That's that shit eating grin you see. Yeah, he gave me that shit, man. You see them the bros that don't have no dads. That shit is a fucking advantage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because the black men you see on TV are inherently violent, and we not like that unless you make us like that, just like any other human.
Exactly.
That's what they don't understand. The heroes be bulletproof. Like, that's a whole subliminal message, man. Like, oh yeah, you can shoot the black man, he'll live. What the fuck we want?
No, we won't. No, we won't. Um, so with dealing with that though, right? That has to affect your mental health. That has to affect your mindset. Even though I understand your perspective of just letting your children make their own decisions and stuff like that, but their decisions are obviously going to affect you, right, mentally. So
Yeah,
what kind of things do you practice on a daily basis to kind of like deal with that mental health?
I smoke a lot of weed. I walk in prayer. fucking alcoholism. It's not healthy. Not all of it is healthy. But like I cope and I keep going. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I cope and I keep going. Because if you stop, you're redundant. You're useless. Dead. Walking dead.
Yeah, I see that, but at the same time, you're just masking pain, right? So I spoke about how like whenever, my ex's daughter passed away, and I just dived deep into like you remember when we first met, you couldn't catch me sober,
Yeah.
and that was just me masking the pain. Like I was coping, like you said, coping, but I never was dealing with the pain. So when I took away the marijuana got taken away because I got my new job, it hit me like a brick wall. I mean, I feel like I was so emotional and I was so angry, but then I had to actually focus on that, address it, and heal from it, right?
Yeah.
So I know that that's how you're coping right now, right? And I won't sit here and be disrespectful to you or say anything negative to you, right? So what I want to know is what kind of steps, if marijuana got taken away today and something happened where you couldn't drink no more, what kind of steps do you think you would need to take to deal with that pain that you're going to be feeling?
Uh, the pain that I feel is that's so strong that nothing can mask it.
I know. So, but we
It's
have.
not it's not like I'm masking the pain. I'm dulling the reaction so I can get past the reaction and get towards the problem. The thing about me is, like I say this all the time, I make my best decisions under pressure and with my back up against the wall.
As a true man.
Like I don't even know that's a good statement because a true man is planned out.
No, what I'm saying is that that's a true man attribute, meaning
Yeah.
that you should be able to, handle pressure. That's what we're built. We're supposed to be built for. You're supposed to be
Yeah.
built to handle pressure, make tough decisions, even when everything's like you said, like you're back against the wall, everything is stacked against you. You should be able to make a decision to maneuver through it.
One of the reasons why I feel like I'm a statistical failure is because at a certain age, you're supposed to move to where you don't see the same adversity, you know. So the only time I could be put under pressure is if I have put myself in a position to where I don't have the upper hand.
Okay.
If I'm slipping, somebody gonna get got, and it's probably gonna be me. You know, like I I believed in that as a kid, as a teenager, when I went to prison, even in life.
Okay.
When I go to work, I believe that I need to be on my P's and Q's so I'm not slipping. I don't need nobody to catch me not on my shit. Because what happens to a man, even the greatest man, when he falters even a little bit, especially if he's a brother, we got to be fucking perfect. Am I lying?
No, you're not lying at all.
I drink alcohol and I smoke weed. We got water up here. Me and you got to be perfect because they'll take our ability to reach people. They'll take our ability to look presentable. Our own people will question our integrity. Like it's the same thing for sisters too.
Might be a little harder for them though, to be honest.
You don't want to get into that conversation.
That's what we're here for, man. I got all
How
night.
is it harder when the road has been paved by us?
What I mean is harder is because they're also black, right? Just like we are, and they have a lot of the same struggles as we do. The only difference is they're a woman, so they're perceived as weak already off the back. Just like you said earlier, they perceive us to be superheroes. Like you said, you could shoot him and he'll live, right? They perceive them to be super weak.
No, they do them the same way, especially in the medical field. You know what they do to women? They refuse to give black women on, I don't know the statistic, but I have read the statistic and it's from the Pew Institute. The same people that work with the CDC that let people know that black men take care of their kids and black men are the most active with their kids. black men take care of their kids. Go look it up. Pew Institute. Anyway, medical racism. It's a black woman with an ailment. They're gonna question it. They're gonna send them home with some ibuprofen. Anybody that's non-color, non-brown, they're gonna dope them they're gonna give them everything. They're gonna run all the tests, run all the gamuts.
And I hear what you're saying, but what I'm saying is this, right? So like, as a man, right, as a black man,
Mm-hmm.
they're in a sense kind of scared of us, right?
I don't know why.
Well, that's,
Well,
why
no,
is
no,
not is not.
excuse me. I know why.
Well, okay, so you know why, but my point is, they're kind of scared of us. That's why whenever we're getting shot and stuff like that in the car, right, or whenever we're getting pulled over by cops and stuff like that, right?
Women ain't killing.
No. But no, hear me out, right? So, as black men, we're a target because we're feared, right?
Yeah.
They're a target because they're black and they're weak. They're considered weak, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm saying is like they might have it just a little bit harder, only because we can kind of like intimidate. If we had to kind of.
I feel like
You ever felt like you was at a job and they wanted to fire you, but they didn't fire you yet, and you're trying to figure out why?
no. Every job I've ever been on, when they wanted to fire me, they got rid of my motherfucking ass immediately. Sometimes they come in and have me work a shift, and at the end of the shift, they fire me. That manager got knocked the fuck out. I ain't even gonna lie. Yeah, he got slept. Yeah. You
Violence is not the answer.
Sometimes no. It's the
Violence
question, and the answer is fuck yeah.
No. If you're watching this, he's totally kidding. He's probably not, but just act like he's kidding.
No.
Jesus, man, you're crazy. So moving forward in life, what kind of women are you? What kind of woman attracts you? Like, what's the 3 qualities you look for in a woman? The main 3.
A certain physical build. I'm not gonna get into because I don't want to hypersexualize women.
Okay.
Intelligence. A political opinion that sides with mine. And if it doesn't side with mine, you can empathize with mine and we can meet in the middle. And straight out empathy and intimacy. That's 5. I need.
So intimacy, empathy, those 2. I kind of think that those kind of line up with what I always say is like, as men, we want 3 things pretty much from women, right? Sex, submission, like follow our lead. Hold on, I'll just sex, submission, and nourishing, right? You want somebody who can take care of the household, who can, I think that's the empathy part of it, right?
Yeah.
And then obviously the intimacy is the sex part.
Yeah.
And then what I say about following my lead, what I mean by that and submission is not like bowing down to you, you're my king. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is like, as men, we're leaders, right? We don't want to be having telling our woman we're going left and the whole time she's trying to pull us right? Because now that's just a fight. That's not what we want. And I'm not saying that she needs to blindly lead you, or follow you, but I'm saying that if you can paint the picture and you can give her something positive to lead, to follow, then she should trust you and follow you. You agree?
If you built the foundation of trust in that aspect, yes, she should follow you.
Exactly.
Me, I'm more of a hybrid. I fashion myself as a Sigma. I don't need you to submit to me. I need you to compromise with me. Sometimes I need you to take the wheel because I might be fucking drunk. And I don't mean like literally drunk. Like I might be fucked up in life.
Yeah.
And can't lead myself out of a wet paper bag.
Yeah.
I need you to motherfucking grab the steering wheel and say you in charge sometime, not we. You know what I mean? But in the same sense, when it's like, hey, let's go about this way. Like you should be open to that compromise.
Yeah, for sure.
If it's logical.
And remember, I'm just speaking in general.
Yeah.
I'm not speaking in like this is the strict way. I'm just saying in general, that's what's kind of like how we are built to think and to feel. But as we grow, as we get with certain women and we go through situations and stuff like that, obviously things are altered, they change, we learn, we adapt. Because
I love a woman with a strong will, bro.
No, I can respect that because you don't want a jellyback woman, right? Because that kind of goes into what you were saying a minute ago. Is like, as men, we're not perfect, right? So if I
Yeah.
say, "Hey, we need to go left," and she can foresee something I can't see.
Yeah.
I don't need her to just be like, "All right, I'm gonna follow you left." I need her to say, "Hey, now look, babe, I know you want to go left, but what you don't see, because sometimes we just see
Yeah.
we
We
see tunnel
see.
vision.
Yeah.
We don't see all the other stuff going on. That's what the beauty
Yeah.
of their mind is. They can see that kind of stuff. So there's where the strong world comes in. So I can totally agree that. But
Yeah.
what I'm saying is that if you just say it off the rip, I'm going left, but just because she's her own person and independent. She say nah with no kind of like reasoning or rhyme. She say let's go
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
That's not
That ain't
that's
the
what I'm saying.
move.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
saying like if I say hey let's go left and left looks like a clear path. Like I said, you can paint the picture, you can make it make sense. She should willingly follow you. But at the same time, I totally 100% agree that if the woman can see something, then y'all need to have a discussion, come to a compromise,
Yeah.
and adjust the the path you're on.
Yeah. Like me and little mama, it's been some really important cornerstones in my life that I was like, hey, I need you to make an executive decision. I could do this or I could do this. Some of those things change. Most of those things changed my life for the better. You know.
I truly believe that if you have a strong woman, that your life gonna be better anyway. Cause she's gonna keep you. When I say a strong woman, that's for you, like you were talking about earlier, right? A strong woman that's for you. I think that your life's gonna be better because
Yeah.
she's gonna be your support system. She's gonna be your second navigator.
We got to start talking about not just the woman being for you. Are we in the position to be for that woman? Because, in a sense, like this love shit is transactional as fuck, and that's not a new thing. It's not transactional. It's actually circumstantial as fuck. If you don't do this, this is gonna happen to you. It's literally the gift and curse. They have made it that way, at least in America, for a man.
So, so I always ask this question as well. Uh, do you think? What do you think is more important, love or loyalty?
Loyalty.
Would you agree that loyalty is the action of love, the true action of love? You think about what love really is. When you really should love somebody, do you think that
I feel
loyalty?
like they're two separate things that coincide. They're two different sides of a coin.
Explain.
You can love someone. You can know you love them and not know how to love them. You could love somebody wrong and still keep a relationship in this day and age. But if you're not loyal, that relationship is going to crumble. People pride themselves on being loyal. That may be the only thing that they can do.
Okay, so let me ask you this then: if love and loyalty run parallel, they're not the same. They run parallel, right? That's what you're saying.
They run at 90-degree angles of each other.
But I'm just saying that like they're not the same, but they're both
They meet. And
perpendicular.
when they meet, it's perfection.
So perpendicular, right?
Yeah.
So they're not the same, right? So let me ask you
Yeah.
this then: if you took either one away, if you had love but you took loyalty away, or you had loyalty but you took love away, which one do you think the relationship will last with?
They're both going to fail.
You think so?
Yes.
I don't. I disagree. The reason why I say that is because if you're loyal to somebody, you'll never hurt them.
Um,
Because hurt and loyalty can't.
Relationships are tricky and they're not a straight line. And
Well, for sure.
And like as soon as something is not balanced, a relationship is a house of cards. If it's not balanced, it's going to topple. An in tune relationship has cause and effect. You know, like responsibilities and expectations, and they have to be met. If they aren't, things will go awry. What usually leads to cheating in a relationship between a man and a woman? Somebody's not sexually satisfied.
But if they're loyal to you, they still want to go cheat though.
Are you going to be loyal to someone that refuses to satisfy you?
Well, hold on. That's when you walk away. But I'm saying if you choose to stay in that relationship and you're not sexually satisfied, but you're loyal to that person, you won't cheat. But here's the thing: if you're in a
Are you
relationship.
sure? Have you ever cheated before?
Nah. Actually, well, hold on. No, no, no. Yeah. And where's that relationship at? Yeah, I did. And where's that relationship at? It ended it.
You've
Listen,
cheated before. Do you still call yourself loyal?
I'm not loyal to that person.
You weren't loyal to that person in that instance. What led up to that?
Uh, okay, so let's get into it. So I'm not gonna say who. It's irrelevant. But in that instant, what happened was we were together for a long time, and then people started. I was young, immature. People kept telling me that she was cheating and all this stuff, and I was
Those are an excuse. Were you sexually satisfied?
yeah.
You were an idiot.
But hold on, that might be the case. I was young and dumb, right?
It
But but
is
but
better than being old and dumb.
yeah. But hear me out. You asked the question. I'm gonna answer it for you. Um, so people told me I was, like I said, I was young, really young. I'm talking about teenage, right? And they told me, they kept telling me that she was cheating and that she was doing this and she was doing that. Whether or not it was true or not, I just said to myself, I loved her, and so instead of me breaking up with her, I was gonna get even, and that's why I cheated. After that, uh, in my relationships after that, I never cheated,
Yeah.
right? But I never had a reason. Even when I had one of my ex who I knew was cheating on me, I didn't cheat on her because I grew up and I learned that if I'm gonna choose to stay, right, I can't act. Two wrongs don't make it right.
What do
Right?
you do when a woman tells you to go find it somewhere else?
That's a test.
Don't shit test me.
Okay, that's the thing that you got to deal with it within you. But
No, that's like okay. That's like me.
you got to remember women.
That's like no. That's like me pushing a woman in her forehead or telling an angry woman from New York to relax. You get what you fucking.
That very well might be true, but I'm just telling you how majority of women think. That's just a test.
Hold
They
on,
play
wait a
games.
minute. So we're not gonna hold women to the standard of being an adult.
We should. I'm just telling you how the general woman thinks.
Should we, or are we going to?
Well, I would hope that you do. I do.
I don't expect women to think any less than any other adult.
Exactly. Yeah, I totally agree. But I'm I'm answering the question in general. How the
I
general
can't,
society.
I can't, I can't hit women like that with a generalization, especially on the internet. Like, oh, you know how women think. You know what my granddad said about women? The children. Like, what the fuck?
No,
Like,
I get
that was
that,
the
but
stupidest
I'm
thing that
just
I've
saying.
ever heard in my life.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, I already know how most women think. Right? They play games. They do tests. Right?
I haven't even like
Us men, we don't actually do that. Right?
I haven't been around most men, and I haven't been around most women to make that a scientific hypothesis.
Well, I have. I'm a social person. Right?
It's
I said
like there are 3.7 trillion women on the planet.
something like that. Billion, I think, or
Like
something.
I haven't even scraped 1%, so I only have a small representation. So I can't be like
Just take yourself over to social media. Look at how many people on social media.
those are avatars. You know how much crazy shit I say on the internet?
That's the difference. You're saying stuff just to kind of like get a reaction, right?
No, most all of that shit I back it up, and then who gonna whoop my ass?
Yeah,
Like
but
I
see
come
what?
from a different generation.
Yeah, but you see the things that you're talking about, right? You're
Yeah,
right. So women put emotions onto social media, right? We don't put we put literacy onto social media.
shit, I'm emotional as hell.
Yeah, but if you're gonna argue it up and down,
Oh no, I ain't gonna do all that. I'm gonna chump you off and call you out your name and tell you you're fatherless. And we gonna call it a
what I'm
day.
getting at, right, is I'm saying that when men, typically with men, we're literal. We're very literal thinkers. We're like direct to the point for the
Yeah.
most part, right?
Yeah.
Women, they involve their emotions for the most part, right? And their emotions, just like my podcast, mine are emotions, right? Because if we make decisions while we're emotional, 90% of the time we're gonna make the wrong decision or a decision that we're gonna regret, and that's the what women are emotional creatures. And I'm not talking down on women at all. I'm not. I'm just saying, typically a lot of times women they get mad and they say like, "Oh, it's over," right? Just hypothetically, right?
Are we going off of the internet? Are we going off the internet or like on the internet? I hope they don't crucify. Yeah, fuck it, crucify me. Yeah, crucify Jesus. All right, women are very financial. right now. So I can't even say it's not logical. It like they looking at it like if I add this man to my life, how is it gonna uplift my lifestyle? There's nothing wrong with that thinking. It's just the expectation of the glow up for me. I'm
Well, that's because, like like I always tell people, the things that men want in relationships versus the things that
I
women
just
want.
want my fucking ROI.
But hear me out, man. um, the things that men want in relationships, and we went through that already, right? The things that women want, they're not symmetrical; they're asymmetrical, right? So women look for the reason why they look for what benefit this dude can bring to her life is because the two things that she wants, the two main things that she wants, are protection and provision, right? If she don't feel safe with you, she ain't gonna be with you. And like women always say, I could do bad all by myself, right? So if you can't bring that to the table, you're not doing anything. And you ain't gotta be rich, but if you're not doing anything to add to her, her cup, add to her lifestyle, add to just her, her in general, then you're not meeting your baseline as a man, right?
Uh,
And so they might accept you they might accept you from jump, but then over time they're gonna begin to resent you.
yeah,
So that's why it's like that. That's why women, it always seems like they're looking for the glow up, but really they're just looking for their baseline, the baseline that they expect from the man. The
yeah.
only problem is I feel like is that this is what I truly feel like. I feel like we get mad because women hold us to their baseline, which our baseline for them, their baseline for us is very small. The thing is, ours,
Bullshit.
huh?
Bullshit.
No, it is. I just told you it's
No,
only
no,
protection and
no,
provision.
no. Okay. Protection
Mm-hmm.
involves solving a problem before it happens. They want to do what they do. La 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 la. Trip into a 10-foot hole and us catch them after we had told them, hey, don't walk that way. No, I'm independent. Like, but in the same sense, we as men, we're just as obtuse as them. Our expectation is too high.
Oh yeah, that's what.
You know what I mean? Like, and it's too high for us. Like, we want the things that we can't obtain by ourselves. Right? We want love, we want affection, we want acceptance and validation. That could be a whole definition of things. And those definitions, it's like me, I want fucking sex every day. If you're not on your period, let me smash. You ain't in the mood, let me eat it. I get you in the mood. I promise. Sit on my face. That's just me. Like, and in the same sense, like, a girl want me to motherfucking at least put in 50% and not fall short and be consistent and stay out these women face. Like, she wants somebody that could make her feel safe. It's not even protection, just make her feel safe. And all that's really what it is with women. But when it comes to that provide shit, the definition of what provide is changed. It's like I need you to get like I know a place in Lakewood where you can go get your nails done. You can go get your feet and nails done for $65. But they want this, boom, boom, boom. Something that's not healthy for your nails that you gotta keep up and it fucks up your cuticle. Then you gotta get this extra work on your cuticles and shit. Cause like I didn't pay for a lot of nails and shit. And my mama used to get her nails done. My daddy used to take me to get manicures, like keep your nails clean. Women like that shit. Know how much that shit costs. They want you to go spend $400 with one of these social media influencers. You know what I mean? So they can have a little bit of clout and get some cool points. Oh, my man when it spent 450 on fucking 10 fingers and 10 toes. That's not economical.
No, that's silly.
I look at it like this. There's powers that be that don't want black men up under black women because if we come to a consensus, black women can keep our emotions under control and we can keep their financial literacy under control. They have turned our women into consumers. That's why they don't talk to us because the women spend their money. They don't make more money than us. They spend more money
I can agree with that. Real quick. quick, if you guys are still watching this podcast, drop in the comments what you guys think about the episode so far. And as always, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, head on over to Instagram and follow us on Instagram at _VDP, and follow us on TikTok as well at _Emotions the podcast. Hey, real quick before we get back into the story, man, I'm gonna have you spin my wheel real quick. Go ahead and spin it. And while it's loading, I'll explain to you what's going to happen. Pretty much it's going to land on a topic. Let me know what the topic is. I'll let you know what the premise of that topic is, and then I'll let you do your thing. What you got?
Double spin, 2 topics.
Uh-oh. So spin it again. I've been waiting for somebody to land on this one.
It's always me.
All right. So you got suicidal struggles. We'll go with that one first. So pretty much, tell us about. Have you ever dealt with any kind of suicidal struggles? Like,
Oh, hell yeah.
what led you to those thoughts?
I was in Hurricane Katrina. The mother of my son, my first child, she was pregnant. She was 6 months pregnant when Hurricane Katrina happened. We lost everything. We had to swim out of where we were. And then the lake behind the house had a gator, and all the water turned into that lake around there. So there was a family of gators running. We had to swim. We had to get out of there. Closest place we could go was my mama's house. My baby mama was white. I had to go to my mama's house. My mama used me, abused me, took half my FEMA money, and then kicked me out and told me I had 2 weeks to come get my baby mama. And I was trying to change my life because I was going to have a son, and I had to go back and do what I was doing. And somebody close to me in a transaction died. Then my homeboy that was doing the right thing and went into the army, he went to Fallujah and didn't come back. And he came back and he was having problems with the VA and they wouldn't give him his money. And he couldn't work. They wouldn't allow him to work. He was trying to take care of his mama. They got put out on the street. He unalived himself, and it was like somebody that I dealt with like every day.
How did that affect you? That's what led you to the suicidal thoughts?
Yeah.
That's just all on one journey.
Like all of this happened in the span of like 3 weeks.
Oh man. So during that time where you were having the thoughts of unaliving yourself, what got you through it? Did you have a support system of any kind?
It wasn't like a support system. I felt like everybody around me needed me, and I couldn't just leave them hanging.
Okay. Do you still struggle with those thoughts?
Not anymore. I'm too arrogant now. Like,
So
man, I
besides
fucking
that,
love myself, bro.
there you go. I was going to get asked. Besides the arrogancy, what do you do to what got you through it? Like what?
Like focused on things that I'm good at and putting myself in a position to where I could be valued for the things that I'm good at, like my job, my hobbies, like my stream, my content that I create myself. Like
What do you stream?
I stream video games, tech tips, anime, murder mysteries. Uh, Sometimes I have a special guest on the stream, like Athena Nicole 420 is always there. People on Twitch. I've been on Twitch like a decade. So like
Where can people follow your stream at?
Twitch.tv/Gilgamesh 2007. GILGAMESH 2007 on Twitch.
All right. Did you ever? I know you said you had the thoughts. Did you ever attempt anything?
Nah,
All right. I'm appreciative of that. You went to therapy for it?
not for that. I went to therapy and it was all encompassing. It was like, sit down and tell us your story and let's see how we can fix this shit.
Did you find it to be beneficial?
Yeah. But I feel like this. If you don't keep it consistent, like shit could get real.
Okay, I agree. So obviously you're not in therapy no more, right?
Nah, not at this
So
moment.
I kind of hinted at this question earlier. you're not in therapy no more, and just like you said, if you're not consistent, what kind of things how do you stay consistent? Like, how do you stay consistent if you're not going to therapy to keep you from not going back, falling back into those kind of thoughts again?
It's like more than anything, I gotta add a will to want to live. That's the first thing. Like if you can't get past that, you always gonna have those problems. Like the root of the problem is the will to live. Like I told you, I'm a direct individual. I go to the problem. I don't want to whine about it. I'm gonna go to the problem. You know.
Okay. Um, and would you recommend therapy to anybody else?
Oh hell yes. Go to therapy even if you think you don't need it.
Okay. Yeah, I had a bad experience with therapy. I didn't actually get to talk to nobody though, but I am still open to going back to therapy. But to
You
be
just
honest,
gotta find your therapist. You gotta find your atmosphere. And you before like was it like over the phone type therapy or you went in?
I think it was going to start that way. Like I said, I never got to talk to nobody. I was dealing with the VA, and I went through. I had two phone call set up. They set up two phone call. You know, their preliminary ones. But those appointments actually never happened. They kind of fell through, and then
Yeah.
the VA stopped responding. You know, they wasn't setting anything up anymore, and that's when I ended up getting off of using marijuana consistently and heavily, and then that's why I just kind of dealt with it on my own, and I had a great support system,
Yeah.
and I was able to work through it. And honestly, like I was gonna say something earlier, and basically because I try to be honest on this podcast, right? Originally, my first thought, because like I told you guys in the beginning of this, I don't come here with any kind of questions, so I just kind of actively listen to what the guest is saying, and then formulate a conversation around that. And when you were talking, I was thinking to myself, I was like, man, I don't think I would go to therapy because I don't have any reason to go to therapy, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think that that's the right mindset to go to attack a problem once it happens. You place things in place to keep the problems from happening.
Therapy is an exploration. Go and sit down and talk to them people and let them figure out what's going on with you. Because the first thing is like if you even go, if you even decide to go, you've already made the first step to be like, I need help. This shit called life ain't easy at all. It usually gets worse before it gets better. Like literally, go get you somebody that can move like that and been through it. You know what I mean? Like, and it may take some time and energy to go find the right therapist.
That's what I
You
was
know
going
what
to
I
ask you.
mean?
Like,
Like,
what would you suggest to people who are trying to find therapy?
I can't suggest you if you in any state you are in. If like under Obamacare, mental health is free, and if you got a job and you got medical insurance, like it's still they don't even give you a copay. I don't think for mental health. Like you can get somebody over the phone, or you could just call an emergency hotline. They'll sit up and talk to you. And usually, when you call a non-emergency hotline and you sit up and talk to them, they're gonna send you to a mental health specialist, and it's gonna be free, and you can call them on a regular basis. So think about it.
So what I always give people the opportunity when they come out here to do is to give advice, right? Because there's no such thing. I don't think there's no such thing as bad advice, right? And we've all been through things, right? So to somebody who's maybe battling with some kind of loss of a relationship, maybe being post incarcerated, dealing with family who really don't really want to mess with them, what kind of advice would you give to them?
Let nothing get in the way of your success, and be good. And if you can't be good at it. That's it.
I can kind of respect that. Straight to the point. Hey guys, if you guys enjoyed Demarcus being on the podcast, drop a green heart in the comments. I want to know, what do you think about the podcast, man?
I'm vibing with it, man.
It's a good experience for you.
Hell yeah.
You come back.
Yeah.
All right, you got
now that we got the Darth Vader mics out of the way.
Yeah, before we get back into how you feel about the podcast, big shout out to Demarcus. He came over here and spent about an hour and a half, 2 hours working with these mics. Matter of fact, drop a mic in the comments if you think that the mic this time is a lot better than the previous episodes. Man, I just jumped off the porch of this podcast because I care about y'all people watching this. I really do care about every soul that I encounter, and I just want to be there for you guys. So that's why I just jumped off. I'm learning as I'm going, And I wouldn't be here still doing this. I think we're on like episode like 20 or 30 or something. I don't know. I ain't keeping track. But I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for people like Demarcus, who, when I pick up the phone and I got a problem, they're willing to help me. They're willing to come out here, sacrifice their time, and help me because they understand the premise of this podcast and they support it. So big shout outs to you, man. I appreciate you, man. You got any advice for me about the podcast? Like, what's something I should do?
Man, keep doing what you're doing. Do it for you, and get on your social media journey, man. Make 30-second, 60-second clips. You know what I'm saying? Put them on TikTok, YouTube. Go outside of here. Uh, Start getting your presentation together. We gonna get these cameras. We're gonna get you some cameras, some standalone cameras. Get you right, and we're gonna start having live podcasts, diversifying your content.
All right. Would you ever come on and co-host?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, man.
I'm gonna be the opposition. I'm gonna be the crazy to your saying.
Yeah,
Good.
good cop, bad cop type thing.
There you go.
All right, man. Look, man, I appreciate you guys tuning in. And like I said, if you haven't already, go ahead and follow us on Instagram at @minoriemotions_VDP. Follow us on TikTok as well at Minority Emotions, the podcast. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And if you would love to be on the podcast, shoot me an email at minoriemotionsthepodcast@gmail.com. And as always, make sure you guys check on your loved ones, the people you love, the people you don't love. Make sure you just checking on everybody. If you're passing somebody down the street and you ask them how they doing and they're a little hesitant, take the time to get to, dig deep into why they, what's going on with them, man. We have to begin to talk, and we have to begin to truly care and ask the questions, the deep questions that we really don't want to ask. Y'all be blessed. We out.